So I posted a picture on Instagram of the new 15 pan eyeshadow palettes that came out from MAC recently. If you can't find them, they're under makeup, then eyes, then all the way at the bottom it's like palettes and kits. That's where they're at on the website, and that's where I purchased them. A lot of people requested me to do a video on this. Now obviously I haven't had a chance to full on use every shade because I did just get them 2 days ago. I wore the cool palette yesterday, and then I wore the warm palette for the first time today and created the look that I have on, which if you're interested in that, you can hang tight towards the end of the video for that and see, you know, how the eyeshadows perform. I haven't seen a lot of information on these. I tried to do a little bit of research, and mostly blog posts is what I've seen, and I did pull up some information that I found on timtalia.com as far as permanents, repromotes, like stuff like that, and I believe all the other shades where it doesn't indicate on there, whether it's a repromote or a permanent or something, are all new shades. They don't ring a bell in my mind that they're an older shadow, and that's based on me watching a lot of YouTube videos for people who really love their MAC shadows. I'm personally not an expert on MAC shadows by any means, and I did buy these because I don't have very many MAC eyeshadows. Mostly everything I have is like limited edition packaging type stuff, and like pretty things from collections and stuff like that. I built 2 quads a long time ago, mostly really bright colors, so something like this was just not in my arsenal, especially for MAC, and I know people love MAC eyeshadows, so I thought I would give this a go. I did pay $100 a piece for both of the palettes, and individually pans cost what, $10, and if you get them in the pot they're $15. So individually in the pan form I saved $50, and they're also in a palette, but I guess I don't consider the palette really worthy as far as a monetary number, just because these palettes you can't remove the shadows. I don't know why MAC did that. Like, you have all these palette deals with MAC and their individual pans and stuff like that. Why wouldn't they make these removable? And then on top of that, if there is some new shades in there, which I am under the impression that there is quite a few new shades that are like, these palettes are in the permanent line now, but they're exclusive to these palettes. Like, if you are one of those people who really use your MAC shadows, and in particular one out of a palette, if you use it up, like, how are you supposed to get another one to replace it? What, buy a whole new palette? I don't know. I don't know. I'm not a full expert on it, but this is how I'm understanding it, which, I mean, personally, I'm not going to grab one shadow out of this palette and continually use it. If there is one shade that I do love a lot, I'll probably try to find a dupe somewhere else, because I like to use a palette as a whole for the most part, you know, so that's just me. So they are not removable, which I think is a total pain. I mean, you could probably break the palette and get the pans out and stuff like that, but if you were to use up a single shade, you probably have to buy a whole new palette. I don't know if they're going to introduce like new shades that are in here in their permanent line or not, but I wasn't able to find the ones that I picked out on the list that don't have a description as to whether they're permanents or repromotes. I couldn't find them in individual pans, so I think that they're new shades to this. I'm sure you guys who love your MAC shadows will know a lot more about that than me, but I'm going to tell you the shades that are in each palette and their finishes, so you guys can you know, pick that out. And then also I'll try my best to swatch them. I did switch my cameras because my other camera was just not picking up the shades true to color, in my opinion, so I'm on a different camera, and then I can zoom a little bit better. But let's jump into these right here and get a close-up for you. So here is the warm palette. I'm going to read them off to you guys in the finish, starting from this shade going this way, and then the rose so far going downwards. This shade right here is called Flounce, and it is a matte. This one is Sweet Allure, and it is a satin. This is Sun Tweaked, and it's a frost. This one here is After Dusk, it's a Volux Pearl. This one is Blackberry, and it is a matte. The second row, this one is called Pick Me Up, and it's a matte. This one is Cozy Gray, it is also a matte. This one is Crushed Clove, it is a frost. This one is Deception, it is also a frost. And then this one here is Brune, which is a satin. I'm trying to see if that, yeah. It kind of looks a little greenish in the viewfinder. It's not, it's a brown. And this one sounds familiar, so I think this one's a permanent one right here. Let me see my little list. Yeah, it is. Now the last row, this one here is called Silver Fog, and it is a luster. This one is French Clay, it is a frost. This one is Cumulus. It is also a frost. This one is Pearled Earth. It is a Velux pearl. And the last one is Black Tide, and that is a Velux, I think. A V, Velux, right? So that is the Cool palette, Neutral Cool palette. So I'm just going to read off of this list here that I have, that I got off of Timtalia, what shades it says are permanent or repromotes. Blackberry, it says, is a permanent. Brune is a permanent, which that one does sound familiar to me. Cumulus is a repromote, and then Black Tide is in the permanent range. I am under the impression that all of the rest of these shades are new. I mean, it doesn't say new, but I personally, they don't ring a bell in my mind, and it doesn't say so on the Timtalia information that I got. So I'm going to swatch these for you guys. I'm going to do just finger swatches because I feel like you can really see the the texture and the pigment, like the pigmentation and the colors, a lot better on my fingertips than you can on my skin. My skin is really dry and it just doesn't do like shadows justice for nothing. So I'm gonna go ahead and swatch these for you guys and show you what they look like on my fingers. So there is the first row of shadows. So that would be the first one, and that would be the pinky would be the last one. That is what they look like. But you guys can see good. There is the second row of shadows. Here's the first one and the last one right there. These two are matte. And there is the very last row of shadows right there. This one here is kind of silver, and there's Black Tide right there, and the three in the middle right there. So here is the Neutral Warm palette. This is what this looks like. I'll read off the shades and shade names for you guys. Starting with this one right here. This one is Hay, and it is a Velux Pearl. This one is Warm Breeze. It is a satin. This one is Ginger Snap. It is a frost. This one is Dark Brew, and it is a Velux. This one here is Dance in the Dark, and it is a matte. This one right here is Brulee, which sounds familiar to be a permanent one. I'm pretty sure I did use this palette in my look too, so, and I use this shade. This is a satin. This one is Vanilla Extract. It is a frost. This is Honey Lust. This is a luster. This one is Amber Lights. It is a frost. Now I know this one is a shade that a lot of people have because it sounds really familiar. And this one here is Saddle, which is also a matte. And then right here we have Lemon Tart. It is a Velux Pearl. This one is Creative Copper. It is a luster. This one is Butter Fudge. It is a satin. This one is Divine Decadence. It is a Velux. And the last one is Unwind, and it is a Velux Pearl. So, I'm trying to tip it. Make sure you can see it the best here. So that is the Warm Neutral palette, or Neutral Warm palette, which I am wearing in the video. So I'll quickly read off the shades of the information that I got off of Timtalia of what shades are repromotes and permanents in the Warm palette. Dance in the Dark is a repromote. Brulee is permanent. Honey Lust is permanent. Amber Lights is permanent. Saddle is permanent. Creative Copper is a repromote. And Divine Decadence is also a repromote. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 shades in here that I believe are new. And then the other one had how many? And the Cool palette had 11 shades that I believe are new. So this is the first row. This is the last shade, and this is the first one. Here is the second row. Here's the first one and the last one. This middle shade right here is called Honey Lust. That one didn't swatch very great. It's kind of a chunky shade and not particularly largely pigmented. It is pretty though, so there's the second row. And there is the very last row. Right there. Here's the first one, and here's the last one. So there's kind of an overall, I guess, of the two palettes. Hopefully those finger swatches helped. Obviously on the new shades, I don't know, I can't find them individually on the website, so as far as that's concerned, I don't know how helpful it'll be. But hopefully it gave you guys an insight whether you want them. I think that all of the shades swatched really nice. The eye look, I did have a little bit of fallout, which I noted when I was doing the look. But other than that, like this one I used yesterday, I love the look. They all swatch really nicely. They all feel pretty creamy and buttery, except for this one here, Honey Lust. I know that when MAC does palettes like this, they can be very hit or miss. I do have some, you know, like limited edition quads and stuff like that, that they're dry or chalky, or and a lot of people do say that they're not on point with shades from their permanent range that you can buy individually. Again, I must stress, I'm not a MAC eyeshadow expert by any means, so that's kind of why I jumped on this purchase, because I do not have a lot of MAC shadows. Now, I'm pretty excited about this. They swatched, that's the first time that I swatched them all on my fingertips, and they were pretty buttery and nice, and this look here was the first time I used the warm palette, and it blended really nice. I had a tiny bit of fallout, but other than that, everything worked out really nice. So I'm really excited about it, and I'm really glad that I got them. Overall, it's kind of like saving $100. And I do wish for other people, I really wish that these were removable, especially the MAC eyeshadow lovers. Me personally, I'll just use them as a palette as a whole, you know, and stuff like that. I won't pick out one eyeshadow and incorporate it probably with other eyeshadows, just because that's how I am. But it would have been nice if MAC would have made these eyeshadows removable. And it obviously doesn't contain a magnet in there. Otherwise, they probably would have been. So overall, I do really like them. There are more shades that I believe to be new in the 11 shades I believe to be new in the cool palette, and there's only 7 in the warm palette. So, and personally for me, I like cooler shadows a bit more for my skin tone. They just flatter me a little bit better, although this did turn out pretty decent on my face, I guess. I don't know. So I like them. I'm glad that I got them. Hopefully you guys were able to see, you know, or get a little bit of information about them, because I know there isn't a lot out there. Also, like I said, I'll put that link to Temptalia down below, because she does list the shades, and hopefully you guys can, instead of me like reading them off, you can see them physically and, you know, be able to see what you have or whatnot, and maybe in your own collections. So if you guys are interested in the look that I created using the warm palette, just hang tight and we'll get into it right now. So I already primed my eyes with the Urban Decay Anti-Aging Primer Potion. Now I'm going to go in and pick up this shade right here, and I'm going to use a Goss number 6 brush, and I'm just going to pack this shade all over the lid. Now on that same Goss brush, I just dusted it off on a towel. I'm going to pick up this shade right here, and I'm going to put that underneath my brow bone. Or, not underneath my brow bone, but underneath my eyebrow. And it is a matte shade. The one that I put on my lid is a satin. And it's in Warm Breeze. This one's called Brulee. I think this is a permanent one. Sounds familiar. Now on a smaller Goss brush, this is a number 5, I'm going to pick up this shade right here, which is called Dark Brew, and it's a deluxe, I think. Just going to pick up some of that. Tap off the excess, and then I'm going to go right into the crease with it. I know I do the same technique. It's a different look, but I do use the same technique to how I like my eyes to look. But hopefully you guys can see how the eyeshadows are performing. And that is a really pretty color. It is really nice. So I got that in there, and then I'm going to take my little detailer brush, which is a Goss number 8 brush, and I'm going to go into that same shade and just pick up a little bit of that and shape my outer corner here. It's got like, this shade's got like really, really fine orange and purple and silver glitters in it. It's really pretty. I don't see it transferring too much onto the lid here, but it's pretty in the pan. And I'm going to take that same little brush again and just blend that real quick. Like that. Now, let's see here. Let's take, I'm going to take this shade right here. No, I'm not. I'm going to take this shade right here, which it's got a green like undertone to it. It's called Unwind, which is a VXP, so I think that's a little X Pearl. And that one right there, on a Goss number 4 brush. I'm just going to pick up some of that. Tap off the excess, and I'm going to run this all along the edge of that darker shade to blend it out a bit. I'm also going to run this up to the front of the brow and meet up with the brulee color that we put down. And then I'll go back in with my number 5 brush, which I'm not going to pick up any more product, but I'm going to go right into the crease and blend that, and then I'm going to blend it up and go a little bit further past that line that we initially put down. I know I got a funky way of like putting on my eyeshadow and stuff, but it's like faster. It's like the fastest for me anyway to get the most out of the eyeshadow and the blend and everything quickest, so that's how we roll. I did just pick up a tiny bit more product there. Yeah, so it looks like that. Hopefully you guys can see. I'm going to go in with my number 4 brush just one more time and just really lightly dust that along the top edge there. Like that. So you have something that looks kind of like that. So there is the eyeshadow done. I did have some fallout on this shade right here, so I'm going to take my Marc Jacobs brush and just wipe this off here. The shadow is really blended nice. I'm sorry if my lights make it look like I can't blend. I'm this close to breaking down and getting a ring light, but I have a really hard time, which I'd probably have to do sitting down and do my makeup because I got a really bad back, really bad shoulder, and a really bad neck, and it hurts. So I'm trying to make do here, but yeah, I do like these shadows. The ones that I picked, this is the first time I used it, but they're nice. They blended really nice. A little bit of fall down on the deeper shade, but so far so good. I'm going to finish up my eye makeup and I'll be right back. I just got into a big scrap with the Anastasia Dip Brow Pomade. I got a deeper shade and was mixing it with the blonde shade. Things got a little out of control, so not my best eyebrow job today. So anyway, let's do some lips. Let's put on this Staunchly Stylish Lip Liner from MAC. I'm just going to line them and fill them in just a little bit. I thought that this new MAC lipstick called Morning Rose, which is a cream sheen and came out with, I think, the Magnetic Nudes collection, the fairly recent one, would probably go best with like this look. It's almost kind of like a fall looking eye, kind of. But I'm just going to use this lipstick here in Morning Rose straight out of the bullet and put it on my lips. That lip liner really goes well with this lipstick. This is the first time I wore it, actually. Matches up good. So there is the overall finished look. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video and found it, you know, helpful with those new MAC shadow palettes. I'm not an expert on MAC shadows, but hopefully it gave you guys an idea of what they are and stuff like that. Thank you for watching. Do not forget to wear sunscreen, and I'll see you guys later. Bye!